Some of the greatest memes throughout the years came when foreign language songs hit the English-speaking world. First example that probably comes to your mind is Gangnam Style, which honestly is hard to believe was already 8 years ago. And there's been so many others throughout the years, like The Seventh Element or Numa Numa. But it's been a while since I heard of anybody speak of one of the first foreign language songs to become a meme in the English-speaking internet. That song is Daler Mehndí's Tunak Tunak Tun, which had a music video that was all over the place in the early 2000s. I took off for obvious reasons, with its goofy, easily imitated dance moves, its Sega Saturn type CG that reminds me of Myst, and several color-coded Daler Mehndís getting into mischief like some sort of Sikh Power Rangers. And the story of how and why the video was made, as well as Daler Mehndí's career following it, are full of all kinds of interesting twists and turns. So for this episode of Tales from Your Internet, let's talk about Tunak Tunak Tun. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. I imagine that a lot of you that have found your way to this video are fans of foreign music and other media. And the thing about that is, sometimes this kind of content is region locked in different countries. With NordVPN servers in over 60 countries, I can make it look like I'm in any country at any time to browse all of the region locked media I want. These servers are super fast, so you won't be left waiting. And it even works in China. Right now, take advantage of a limited time holiday deal. Get 68% off a 2-year plan plus 4 additional months free. Just go to nordvpn.com/wang or use code WANG at checkout. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee and is a great gift for the holidays. That's nordvpn.com/wang. Get the holiday deal before it ends. Of all the meme songs that we've had throughout the years, Daler Mehndí's Tunak Tunak Tun is one of my favorites just because it's a good-ass song. I have absolutely no idea what he's saying, but I enjoy it all the same. I guess that's just a function of growing up with metal. You get used to the idea of liking a song even though you don't know what the words are. The vocals are just another thing you use to make noise happen. But it's not as if Tunak Tunak Tun made him either. Daler Mehndi was an extremely popular musician in India well before the West ever heard of him, well before we got to see him descend from the skies as each element like some kind of Punjabi Planeteers. And as he told it on his website, Daler Mehndi viewed the music video as kind of a fuck you to his critics. A few media houses came up with this analogy that Daler Mehndi is super hit because he has pretty women in his videos. Daler Mehndi decided to shut them up, and how? There was no woman in the video. It seems like kind of a strange criticism to me. I mean, yeah, sure, hot women sell, but they're kind of all over the place, and surely Daler Mehndi wasn't the only one to have hot women in his music videos. And furthermore, I don't know about you, but me personally, my enjoyment of hot women, if I want to ogle hot women, the presence of a jolly, robust Indian man doesn't in any way elevate the experience or really even encourage it. But regardless, he had to go shut them up, so he goes and creates the first Indian music video to use blue screen technology, with the biggest budget to date of 25 million rupees. No women allowed, just 4 Daler Mehndís. And actually, according to his website, there was supposed to be a 5th miniature Daler Mehndi, but he didn't make it to the final cut because of time constraints. I never thought there would come a time in my life where I felt nostalgia for this caliber of CG. Like, it takes me back to a time where you'd see stuff that looked like that playing on ads for game design colleges on G4. It really does look like something out of Myst. Watch out, Daler, don't get trapped in a book. And sure enough, this amazing music video was enough to shut up Daler's critics. This song was a massive commercial success and basically solidified him as India's #1 pop star. And keep in mind, this is all going down in 1998, which I guess the legacy of Kane tier CG was a clue, but this was a long time before the Western world would ever even get a glimpse of this song. In fact, it's kind of murky when or how this song actually managed to bridge itself over into the English-speaking world because a lot of that stuff is simply not archived. Personally, I'm not 100% on it, but I'm pretty sure that the first place I saw it was on eBaum's World, which of course means it could have come from absolutely anywhere. But the earliest instance I've seen of someone memeing on it is from 2001. It was on a website called lordofdance.com, which has thankfully been archived in all of its fantastic Web 1.0 glory, featuring a guy named Danielle Gormley dancing. Tunak Tunak Tun is a classic that will not only stand the test of time, but will also stand the test of superglue. Go ahead, hang it from a steel girder, I dare you. Based on popular indie pop star Darren Mehnd's video. Click here to view the original. It emphasizes what was best about his work. It was really good, says the New York Tribunal. Wow, says Rolling Stone. Now with audio fixed. And note that the link that Daniel provided for the original music video goes to an English language website on Indian pop culture. If I had to guess, I'd say that this website, Teen Station, is probably how the video first made its way to an American audience. Daniel's interpretation of the video features him dancing to Mehnd's song in a variety of outfits of his own, and several more of these parodies would pop up throughout the early to mid 2000s, reaching its peak at some point in 2006. Come on, how are you gonna call it the Caucasian edition and you got an Asian dude right there? Wait, is that a young wavy web surf? There was even a World of Warcraft parody that led to it actually being added into the game as an emote. And the phenomenon would take another turn in 2007. That was when a man named Mike Sutton, more popularly known as Buffalax, got to work on his YouTube channel. Buffalax would take Tunak Tunak Tun as well as a number of other Indian songs and songs from other countries and make videos of them with misheard lyrics. The series became so popular that people began to use the word Buffalax to describe this type of video. And granted, his Tunak Tunak Tun video wasn't as popular as some of his others. Personally, I enjoy his version of a different Darren Mehndi song, Shira Ra. But my favorite, of course, and the one you're probably the most familiar with, is Benny Lava. Unfortunately, a lot of Buffalax's work, along with his entire channel, is wiped from YouTube due to copyright issues. However, his entire library is available on the Internet Archive. Considering that Tunak Tunak Tun was released in 1998 and had its gradual ascent into memedom that lasted throughout the mid-2000s, it had perhaps the greatest sustained period of popularity experienced by any pop song. Memes just lasted longer in those days, but eventually they all fade away. And new meme songs just come and go and take its place throughout the years. Tunak Tunak Tun walked so that Gangnam Style could run. But while his profile wouldn't remain at the same heights as they were in the English-speaking world, in India he remained a star. He worked consistently throughout the decades, working on not only his own music, but several movie and television scores. Unfortunately, however, the next time much of the Western world would hear about him would be under much less positive circumstances. On March 16th of 2018, Darren Mehndi was sentenced to 2 years in prison for human trafficking charges. That's a hell of a crazy headline, and it wound up trending on Twitter that day, reacquainting us with Darren Mehndi in the worst way possible. But that being said, there is a lot of misinformation that's circulated around this story. Because you see, a lot of people have interpreted this news to mean that Darren Mehndi was involved somehow in sex trafficking, kidnapping, prostitution, like some kind of Indian Epstein. Sometimes in conversation when people remember him, they'll be like, hey, did you hear about how the Tunak Tunak Tun guy was involved in sex trafficking? And I think this idea circulates from the game of telephone we play where you see that headline, you don't read the article, so you don't really know what it's about, so you just remember it and tell people and eventually it becomes fact. So here's what actually happened. The case was brought up in 2003 against both Darren and his brother Shamser Singh, who passed away in 2017. In the initial complaint, a man claimed to have paid them a massive sum of money in order to be brought to either the US or Canada as a part of their touring dance troupe. Once they got there, they would stay in the country illegally. Kind of like the illegal immigration version of when a local band plays a show and they have their friend grab a piece of gear and walk into the venue and they're like, oh yeah, he's crew. And according to the court documents, they were confirmed to have done this with 10 people in San Francisco and in New Jersey. And after the case was filed, 35 more people came forward and said they too paid them this massive sum of money and they too were never brought to the US. And while yeah, these are serious crimes, in my opinion, they don't really come close to approaching the level of what sex trafficking is. Which of course, contrary to some people's understanding, is not something he was ever even accused of, let alone convicted of. In any case, Darren Mehndi was let out on bail and to my knowledge has never served any prison time for the sentence. He maintains his innocence, and after filing his appeal, the judge decided to suspend his 2-year sentence. And in the meantime, he has been busy. All throughout this time, he's continued to make music for films, and he's also been active on his YouTube channel, including a new series in which he plays his favorite songs from his home studio. Would you look at that golden throne? But anyway, that's the story of Daler Mehndi and Tunak Tunak Tun, a song that has an important place not just in music history, but in internet history. One of the internet's very first viral songs. And if you like this video, you should also check out my video on How Can She Slap. I'm out.